Myself. Good evening. I am very much thankful to Dr. Chaitra Bharat on behalf of President Sir Parul University. We have welcomed you at Parul University. Dr. Chaitra agreed immediately to deliver webinar on agriculture business leadership. She is a famous agribusiness management professional and speaker. She is BSc Agriculture from University of Agriculture School, Bangalore, PG Diploma in Agriculture, Business Management, Manage Hyderabad, and Doctorate in Agriculture Business, University of Mysore in 2019. Dr. Chaitra established Phonics Academy in 2015 in a partner with the UK. She is currently mini MBA facilitator at Institute of Food and Agriculture Business Leadership, UK. She is a guest lecturer on agriculture business management at University of Mysore. She has also news channel on topic related to agriculture, economy, women and child welfare. So now we will start the webinar on agriculture business leadership. Dr. Chaitra.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for your such a wonderful introduction of me. And I thank Parul University on behalf of Phoenix Academy for giving me this opportunity to talk to the young budding agripreneurs in your university. And I hope this webinar is viewed on your Facebook page and the concept that I'm talking about today reaches more young people as we need a lot of leaders moving ahead. So I thank you all once again for giving me this opportunity, and let's start the webinar on this. And today's topic is agribusiness leadership. So let's look at the top 10 skills that companies or HR managers are looking for in 2020. The first one is complex problem solving. The second one is critical thinking. And the third one is creativity. And the fourth is people management and so forth. In 2015, this was not the same. The first rank in 2015 was complex problem solving. Second was coordinating with others. Third was people management. Fourth was critical thinking. So you see there's a lot of reshuffling of the skills that are required to get a job, retain that job, and to move ahead in your careers in 2020. And I'm sure you all understand when I say complex problem solving and critical thinking and creativity are so important in today's world, because especially the pandemic has taught us new lessons in life. So when we were faced with the pandemic, who were the great leaders who handled this well? Which countries did handle it well? Who were the district commissioners who handled it well? Who were the state chief ministers who handled it well? And these are the kind of questions that come to our mind, and these are the same skills that we are looking at when we are hiring people into any company. So why agribusiness leaders' top strategic priorities are today? These are the top 7, and that's the first one is to pursue joint ventures, alliances, and acquisitions. So it's less of competition. Now it's not, one rat kill another rat, dog kill dog kind of world. No, it's more like, what are you good at? What am I good at? Let's see how we can work together to come up or succeed in the vision or mission that my company has. So this is the kind of collaborative mindset that we're looking for in youngsters. The second one is expand presence in international markets. So the global economy is very different due to globalization and liberalization. We see a lot of global activity, and we are all connected to each other, more so because of social media today. So everybody is connected to everybody. Develop new products develop cooperative relationships with farmers, suppliers, and customers. Yes, that's very important. Develop new sales channels. We need new sales channels because the same product could be used in another market. The same product could be used in another way in another market. So I'm sure a lot of you from business background, MBA background would relate to what I'm saying here. The sixth one would be to build upstream and downstream capabilities to increase vertical integration. Right, and to dramatically reduce cost. So the profit that a company makes need not be only in the difference between the cost of production and your selling price, but by reducing the cost of production, reducing your costs also, you can make a higher profit. Okay, so these are all the kind of strategic priorities that people in agribusiness leaders are looking for today. Why do we need leaders in agribusiness? So it's a rapidly growing regional population. Population is ever increasing. There's ever increasing demand for high quality food. Greater regulation is there. There's a lot of laws and regulations regarding food today. Food safety issues. A lot of people are now becoming very health conscious related to the kind of food that they are eating. And you can see the new concepts or trends that we see today. It could be organic, it could be vegan. So there are a lot of food trends happening and people moving away from the people are not perceiving food traditionally anymore. Everybody has a take on what he or she wants to eat, how they want to eat. So there's a lot of food safety issues associated with that trend and the mindset that is moving from traditional to the new trends that are coming up. So this it's both challenging as well as it presents a great opportunity, especially to those innovative agribusinesses out there. So if you are innovative, wherever there's a challenge, there's an opportunity, you can tap into that market. We need leaders to pursue new avenues of growth. So therefore, agribusiness, the evergreen field of agribusiness, is open to leaders today. So moving on from why we need leadership, and we'll now come to what is leadership. So what do you mean by leadership? So a leader is one who knows the way, he goes the way, and he shows the way, right? So leader is not someone who's telling you what to do, but rather he knows where to get to, and he probably knows how to get to it. Even if he doesn't know how to get to that destination, he's always ready to work with his team to get there. That's the biggest, one of the most important skills that a leader should have. The capacity to translate vision into reality, and skill to unlock people's potential to become better. So if you are a leader, you have to help your team members to unlock the best that they have in themselves. So there's a lot of difference between a manager and a leader. A leader is someone who encourages you, who says, come on, you can do it, I'm sure. Can you think of better ways to do it? Can we all have a meeting and see what works best for our team? Well, a manager is someone who says, you need to do this, 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 and this, and probably micromanages you. He wants you to be at your desk 9 to 5. Probably doesn't even care what you're doing 9 to 5, but as long as you're physically present in office. But a leader is someone who says, I need this to be done at your pace, at the way you think it's best. Let's all come to a common conclusion over it. So key to successful leadership is influence, not authority. So you need to impact people's life. You need to influence people to do what is right for the common goal. That could be a common goal of the family, could be a common goal of the state, the nation, or a common goal of your own organization. The leadership skills for 2020, I will go in a little depth of each one, but critical thinking is something that I would be focusing on in today's webinar. The first one is self-awareness. So what is self-awareness? Self-awareness is how well do you know yourself? Do you know yourself well? Who are you? Okay, so the first one that defines how well you know yourself is, what are your values? Who is your role model? if you like a person or an icon, it could be a Bollywood star, it could be a politician, it could be a sports star or a philanthropist, a great human being, but what are the values that you like in that person, and what would you want to take away from, have that in you, is your values. Now, if I want people to remember me for a value, what would that be? Probably being a teacher, I would want to be remembered to not to be not uh, what prejudiced against someone, not to discriminate between my students, to be very objective in evaluating the papers. So these are the kind of values as a teacher I would want my students to remember. So even after 20 years after they leave college, if somebody asks them, what are the values Dr. Chaitra had, and probably I would want them to remember these values that I stand for. So what are the values that you stand for defines you as a person. The next one is, what are you passionate about? Okay, there's this myth around passion. There's a cultural myth that one day suddenly you realize that what is your passion, and under the bodhi tree something happened, so your passion is going to come to you. It's not necessary that it could happen like that. Passion is something that you're ready to do at any given point of time. You're ready to do it without a minimum pay. So if somebody tells me, Dr. Chaitra, can you please come and teach this class? I'm like so passionate. I just want to interact with young people. I want to talk to them. I want to know what values they have, what are their interests, what are their dreams. Okay, it may not even be that I want to teach them something. It's not the teaching, it's the interaction, because there's nothing called teaching. It's all about learning. So you learn from me and I learn from you. So probably that's my passion, and I will do it free. Okay, so what is that keeps you driven is your passion. So what are your passions? And I'm not saying, well, we cannot judge a person by saying that he's passionate about this, so he should follow this. Not necessarily. If you come into reality, there has to, you need to have an activity to earn your daily bread. So passion is something that you should follow. Yes, it could be your hobby. It doesn't always need to be your career. Right? Okay, so that's about when you're talking about self-awareness. What are your passions? What is your ambition? Ambition is where do you want to reach at the end of your life. When you look back, what is that you want to have achieved? It could be, I want to lead a very healthy life, balance my family, my career, or it could be, I want to have a big house, I want to have this car. Or it may not be related to money or career at all. Your ambitions could be just that you want to have impacted so many lives. Okay, so I want to talk to a few people every day to see that I pass on few good words to them. Probably that will change their life in way that I don't know, but it could just change somebody's day, and a day could change their life. So that's that. Next is, where do you fit in? Fit is, how do you fit into your environment? Not necessarily you are a good fit into the existing environment. So what is the environment? Environment is your family, your organization. All this is your environment. Do you fit well into that organization? Does the organization values sync with your own ambitions, passions, and values? Is the goal of the organization same as you? Then it's a great fit. You both fit well. If not, it's not a good fit. Then you are kind of lost there. Yeah. Then there are patterns. Look at for the last, okay, maybe not lifelong, but as a student, I'm sure I've been told that most of the audience is either in their 5th or the 7th semester of BSc Agriculture. So let's say, think about the decisions that you have made once you have come into this college. Okay, so first decision would be to do a BSc in Agriculture. Why did you make that decision? Why did you choose Parul University? Why did you choose whichever major subject that you have chosen in your final semester. If you have a dissertation, then why did you choose that topic? Now, there's a pattern to everything that you do. Okay, so when the first year students come to an MBA and agribusiness from BCom background or BA background, from economics background, when I ask them, why did you choose to do your MBA and agribusiness management? A few people are very confused. They say, ma'am, I thought it is MBA, just like all other MBAs. It hurts me, but it's only a matter of time, because eventually they understand that agribusiness management has a lot of career options. We have a lot of there's a lot of scope for getting good jobs or starting your own agribusiness. So these are the things that they say. Okay, so one thing is they thought it is something and they chose it. They didn't get any other seat, that's why they chose it. Somebody told them that it's a good course. It could be somebody in their family or somebody who's done this course before, or somebody, random person in their life, random to me. So they told that this is a good course, they chose it. Few people are there who are very focused. They said, no ma'am, I know this is a good course. I did discuss it with few people. I evaluated it with other courses, and I think I want to do this because I'm fit into this. I fit into this, right? So there's a pattern in your decision making. By these answers also, we can know whether you have a pattern in your decision making. What are these patterns? Do you make decisions out of fear, out of confidence, out of low confidence, out of overconfidence? There's always a pattern. Now, you need to sit and think about the last 5 decisions you made in your life. Okay. And with the decision, ask yourself, why did you make that decision? Was it out of fear? Or were you confident why you're making about did you have a good reason to do that? Or what kind of pattern? So every person has a pattern, and this can be broken. If it's a bad pattern, the pattern can be broken. But to break it, first you need to understand you have a pattern. If you don't even know there's a pattern, how are you going to break it? And if it's a good pattern, you think, yes, I made a good decision. I have evaluated my options and then I made this decision. Great. That's a good pattern that you're going. Then there's how you react to situations. Reactions. So this is also an exercise that I would give you. Think about how you reacted to a bad call from a friend. A bad call from a friend is, let's say you had a small fight with your friend, and you reacted in a certain way. Your father said you need to have better marks. This is not what I expect out of you. Then how did you react to that? Especially when somebody is criticizing you. It could be positive criticism, constructive criticism. Even then, some people just, take it to their ego and react in a very bad manner. And sometimes you are so passive about it. People are actually telling you to do something, but you are not reacting. You're not proactive about it. You're not making any changes in your life. So what is your reaction? Are you just like, they're going to say whatever they want to say? I'm like, okay, right? So what is your reaction is the 6th one. And the 7th one is, what is the impact that you're having on other people? Right? How are you impacting other people around you? Now think of, let's say, for one day you just wake up and vanish. Who are those people who will be impacted the most by your absence? Okay, think about it. Who's going to be very sad? Who's going to be impacted in a way that you can't even imagine? Who's going to be happy that you're not there anymore? So how can you change this? If there's somebody who's overly dependent on you for something, so then how can you make it a very healthy, reciprocative relationship that even in your absence, that person shouldn't be lost? Who's going to be happy that you're not there? Can you make your relationship better with that person? right? So when you answer these 7 points about yourself, you will know who you are, and you can always make positive changes to yourself. So the first secret of being a great leader is to first know who you are. Okay, and once you know how to control yourself, change yourself, you'll definitely know how to lead the others. The next one is critical thinking. I'll come to critical thinking in depth in a minute. Let me finish the other two. The next one is communicate and influence. I'm sure a lot of you are watching TikTok videos, you're watching YouTube videos, you follow people on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, right? Yeah. So these people are communicating something to you and trying to influence you. It could be these people who do their makeup and then they say, this is the product that I use, it makes me look so good. There are some people who are saying, I drink this and I'm so much stronger. I'm working out, I use this app on this phone, and this app keeps me fit because I'm trying to follow some kind of plan on that app. It could be a food plan, it could be a diet plan or a fitness regime. Yeah, so what are they trying to do? They're trying to communicate in such a way that it influences you, and you are going to download that app and do the same thing. So my 6-year-old son comes up to me and he says, Mom, do you have a website? I said, yeah, I do have a website. Then he says, are you on YouTube? I said, yeah, I'm on YouTube. And he says, Mom, you're a multi-millionaire. Now I'm wondering, yes, I have a website, I'm on YouTube, but how does that make me a multimillionaire? So can you imagine a 6-year-old child is watching something on YouTube, he's watching influencers on YouTube or whatever, and he thinks all these guys are successful, they are multimillionaires, right? So a good leader, let's not go into the ethics of this, let's not go into whether it's good, bad, or whatever, but these influencers today are communicating and influencing people. And this is a skill that a good leader should have in order to be successful. So what does a leader communicate? How does he influence people? Is the organization, the company has a goal. Okay, probably this year they want to do this much sales, or they want to reach a profit bottom line of this much. So you need to communicate it so effectively to your team, to your company colleagues, that and influence them to work in such a way, create that environment that lets them do that in a very productive way, and you're going to achieve it. So when you achieve that goal, definitely you become a good leader, right? Next is learning agility. So why I have given a slide of young children here is you can teach them anything, right? So children can pick up language, they can pick up body language, they just know how to read your mind. They know when the father or mother is angry, they know when they're happy, when they can ask for ice cream, when they can't ask for ice cream, right? So they're not only taking in that, they understand the situation, they're trying to understand, what's my mom thinking right now? If I ask her this, will she be happy with me or angry with me? What's my dad thinking right now? Is it the right time to say that I broke his phone? So they're taking in the observation is there, and therefore they learn very quickly. So if you take a newborn child from day 0 to his 365th day, 365 days is what it takes to learn a lot of words in the human language, whatever their mother tongue is. They understand the body language. They try to pick up things with their fingers. They try to eat. They try to walk. So much they're learning because their brains are so powerful that they're capturing everything that you give it to them. But once you, probably after the age of 7 or 9, we kind of think that we know this much. So whatever we are learning starts getting filtered. Okay, so then your biases, by then you have learned to have biases, to have prejudices. So if this person is saying, I don't have to listen to her. If this person is saying, I should do what he's saying, see, already that bias has come. Who has that leadership in the family? Okay, so many places, the father is the boss, right? Or in some cases, the mother the boss. The children, you've never said, you've never told the child that you don't have to listen to your mom, but you have to listen to your dad. No, you've not told that, but they've already learned it because of the exchanges, the interactions that are happening around them, right? So these kind of biases, we as adults have already got a lot of them. We've got so much. We've got uh, we've got religion, we've got nationality, we've got caste, we've got gender. Okay, so there's so many biases already. So where does the learning happen? The learning also gets filtered because of all these biases. So there's learning coming in and your bias is just like, punching it in the face and say, no, this can't be, because my brain already is tuned to think in a certain way, right? So this needs to be put out. Your brain needs to function as a young child, take in all the data, think, and that is critical thinking, right? Think what is right, what has high probability, and so now let's coming to what is critical thinking, why we need it. So this is actually the core of this concept that I'm presenting to you today. And critical thinking skills are very, very important for all of you out there in whatever level of employment or entrepreneurial journey that you are in. So critical thinking is based on two assumptions. First, that the quality of our thinking affects the quality of our life. And second, that everyone can learn how to continually improve the quality of his or her thinking. So first is, critical thinking is a life skill, not just a professional skill. So it's a life skill. When you meet people, you want to know whether you have made a good choice of a friend, whether the person you are planning to marry is the right person for you. You're going to buy a car. Is it the right one in your budget? There's so many places that you're making decisions, and critical thinking skills are very important for each of them. Next is, it helps you make decisions based on data. So actual facts. Okay, not on assumptions. It gives you an edge over others in a dynamic, competitive world. Yes, so when I'm saying these skills are very important, so let's say there are 100 people you're competing with in this dynamic world. Everybody has critical thinking skills, but then it would be, at what level is your critical thinking? What are the skills that you have in the critical thinking phase, right? It helps you on making better choices, collaborations, and partnerships. It helps you to be proactive and not reactive. This is why you need critical thinking skills. So now let's come to what is critical thinking. Critical thinking is the ability to consolidate data, analyze it, and draw valid conclusions. Okay, so we all have data, we analyze it and make information out of it. Fine. So the first step in critical thinking, these are the 6 steps, and the first step is to remember. So what is remembering? It's retrieving, recalling from memory. Then once you have some data, you also get some things out of your memory. Okay, so let's see how to understand this. Then after you have an understanding, you apply it. After applying it, you analyze it. Okay, break it down, calculate, and all that. Then you evaluate, then you create. Many of us probably are in the phase of analyzing or evaluating, and the highest order of thinking is creating. That is the higher order. So in lower classes, when you look at our education, in the lower classes, we are trying to make children remember things. Okay, so your 2 1s are 2, 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6. When you're kind of memorizing those multiplication tables, it is nothing but you're feeding your brain something to remember. Okay, So that is the first phase. Then when you come to a higher class, you tell the child, you go to a shop, you're buying 5 chocolates, each of rupees 2. How much money should you pay? So 2 5s are 10 rupees he has to pay. What are you trying to do here? You're trying to explain and apply the concept that you had taught your brain to remember. Okay, so if you give the child, you tell the child you have 10 rupees and one chocolate is 2 rupees, how many can you buy? Then you're trying to teach the child how to analyze. So you're breaking down the existing model, shifting the mathematical model across and trying to analyze. So I'll tell you that a lot of our education system kind of stops here at analysis. So most of us are kind of at this level, at the application or the analyzing level. So what is to evaluate? Evaluate is try to understand that concept so well that you can actually say, this is missing, this is missing. What if there's a discount? What if there is chocolate, buy 3, get 2 free? So you're critiquing it, you're judging it, you're adding some more to it out of your own thinking, right? Then you create something out of it. So you have all this external data, internal knowledge, and you try to create something out of it. That's the highest order of thinking, and that is creating. So try to understand, and it may not be that you are in analysis position means everywhere you're in that position. It doesn't mean that. So when it comes to math, you may be just in applying or analyzing. When it comes to physics, you might be in the creative mode, right? So whatever you're passionate about, what you're studying, what you're getting in-depth knowledge, so slowly your critical thinking level also goes higher and higher. Okay. So let's take a very small, simple example for all of you to understand what is logic. So you have a cat and a goldfish. Now these two are enemies because the cat always wants to eat that goldfish. There's a dog. Dogs don't eat cats, but they can't stand them. They're always barking at the cats or trying to catch them. So the cat has 2 enemies. Now these 2 enemies are enemy's enemy. So that makes them friends. But does this always hold good? Is this logical for us to conclude that all dogs hate cats and all cats hate dogs? Right? Yeah, so this is not enough. This is a general implication, but not specifically, it may not apply to a specific pair of dog or cat or puppy or kitten. Right. So that is why we need to apply our critical thinking skills to each case differently and see how it goes. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about each level of critical thinking and what are the kind of questions we ask when we are faced with such a problem or a case. So normally, I'm sure a lot of you would be doing case studies in your classes. So probably this is a good method to tackle a case study, especially if you're doing business management. We try to follow this strategy to arrive at good decisions. The first step is remembering, that is, what are the data that you have? Okay, so ask yourself, who is that? What is that? When is that? Where is that? How? Describe this. What is this? Okay, so these are all the things that you do at this level. The next one is to understand. Okay, so with the questions, it's the same questions: who, what, when, where, how, describe, what is this? But you're trying to convert. You have a set of data, you're trying to convert it, you're trying to describe it, you're going to try to tell it in your own words. That's a better way of understanding, right? So paraphrase it, put it in a particular order. You're going to make it in a more understandable way. Then it's application. How is dash an example of this? How is this related to that? Why is this significant? Do you know of another instance where this happened? Could this have happened in so and so way or on this date? Okay, you apply, you try to illustrate it, try to enact it, to operate. So use those facts, rules, and principles to do this. Next is the analysis. So what are the parts or features of this? Classify this according to this outline, diagram, web, map. How does dash compare or contrast with dash? What evidence can you present for this? At the analysis stage, you will need more data. So probably you'll have to go back to research papers, journals. You ask, so this is the data I have. What is the previous work done on this? How can I compare this with this? How is it different from this and this? Okay. Fifth one is synthesis, or combining ideas to form a new whole. So you're going to change it. Okay, this is what I have and this is what I understand. What if this happened? What would you infer from this? What ideas can you add to this? How would you create a design, a new this from that? What solutions would you suggest for this person to have in this business scenario? What might happen if you combine this with this? Okay, so this is all under synthesis. There's a mix-up. So the fifth one is evaluation. The sixth one is synthesis of creating. So the last one, this is the highest order. This is creating. Okay, so you appraise, you choose, you compare. Do you agree that? If you agree with this, then please explain. What do you think about this? What is most important? Prioritize this according to this. How would you decide about this? What criteria would you use to assess? Right? So these are the kind of questions to ask yourself when you are critically thinking about something. Yeah. When you think about something, you think about yourself as a lawyer, and you're presenting that case in front of the court, and your reputation, your next clients definitely want a lawyer who can win cases. So your reputation dependent on that. Be skeptical about any information presented as a fact. Especially in today's world, social media has so much information, so much data, false, fake news, right? Think about it. Data versus assumption versus opinion. So what do you think that is? Is that true? Is it a fact? Is it somebody's assumption, or is it somebody's opinion? Be sure to know what it is. Apply logic and reasoning to all cases. Okay, get a perspective. What I mean is, you might have heard a lot of people telling you, get another perspective. How do you see this? See, when we are looking at a case from one angle, it looks a certain way. And when somebody else is looking at the same situation, it might present itself in a different way. Right? Okay, so there's a video for this, but I'm not sure if we have time for that. So I will tell you, on YouTube, you can just look for a story called When Crayons Quit. When Crayons Quit. Okay, so it's a children's story to tell you how we think about somebody, and we're looking at that, and how it may not look as to what we are looking at. Right? So just have a look at this very nice video, and you'll understand how to have different perspectives of the same situation. Try to think out of the box, go beyond your mind. That's creativity. So I've already told you that we have so many biases that inhibit our learning, and so we have about 10 biases that we should avoid. In the beginning, you might not even realize that you're having a bias, and that's why you're not able to gather the data and analyze it in a particular way. But with practice, you'll definitely know what are the biases that you have. The first one is confirmation bias. The confirmation bias is, let's say, it's the tendency to easily accept information that confirms your point of view and rejects information that does not support it. Okay, so let's say I like someone, and that person says something about something that I like. Now, just because I like this thing, what he's talking about, I will accept it because I also think it is true. Now, that's a confirmation bias. I will accept what I think is true. Anchoring bias. So we hold on to one piece of information, and then we try to analyze everything because of that one piece of information. What if the basis of this information is wrong? Then all the confirmations we made using this as the truth are all false. Therefore, when you get information, first judge them as to what is what is true, what is true, what is true. Now keep those. What is could be true. Okay, what is false? Take it away. And now go on in your quest for analyzing that information. The Dunning-Kruger effect, it's very common. Incompetent people overestimating their competence, and competent people underestimating theirs. So this is quite common amongst everyone. Okay, so there could be a situation when I'm thinking, okay, Parul University has asked me to give them a webinar on this. So what will I talk about? I've not studied psychology. Do I have the technical skills to deliver this, right? So that's so much of no confidence in myself that could translate into people who are listening to this webinar might not trust me because they can sense that, low confidence. But when I'm confident, I say, well, I'm not a major in psychology, but I do know about leadership. I've worked with leaders, and I know I can always differentiate between a good leader and a bad leader. And I think I should share my viewpoint. I should share about these skills. When you have that confidence, people are going to trust you. Right. The curse of knowledge bias, where well-informed people are unable to look at an issue from the perspective of a less informed person. So people who know a lot about a certain thing cannot look at it from a different angle, from the angle of a person who knows less about something. So this is the curse of knowledge bias. Functional fixedness, using an object or idea only in the traditional way. So a very good example would be Dettol. So all of us from our childhood, we've always thought Dettol is a part of the first aid kit. So Dettol had to actually do a lot of rebranding. They came out with a marketing marketing strategy where they showed that Dettol could be used for washing clothes, part of the water that goes into washing clothes, in your bath water, to spray, to use it in the water that you're mopping your floor with, right? So there's no functional fixedness. So through their marketing promotional activities, they try to remove this functional fixedness bias in the consumer's head. So now you will see Dettol in a lot of bathrooms. Now you'll see not only in the first aid kit, in the bathroom, Dettol came out with Dettol Kitchen. Then they have Dettol washing detergent, which is there. So especially they tell you that you could use it especially for children's clothes, right? Yeah. The sixth one is mere exposure effect, and that is tendency to like only something that you're familiar with. Not invented here by us, the tendency to discount information, ideas, standards, or products developed outside the certain group. So if my people didn't come up with this idea, it's not good enough for me. Did you do it? Did you do it? Are you in my group? Then it's okay. Somebody else doing it? No, then it's not good. Okay, so that's another bias. Reactance, urge to do opposite to preserve freedom of choice. Yeah, we see this a lot in teenagers. They just want to do something to prove that they are free. The parents can't control them, or the teachers can't control them. Yeah, so this is a behavioral thing, and it's a bias. Okay, just to prove your freedom, you're doing something. You're making a decision based on that. It's not good for you. Status quo bias, tendency to want things to stay the same. So you are very comfortable in this frame of mind where you believe in this. So another piece of data comes in, you don't want to take it because then what you believe in could become everything is false, right? So to maintain that status quo, you are not taking in that a new piece of information. System justification bias, tendency to try to actively maintain status quo. So normally this is a system bias. That is the community around us, the people around us are trying to tell you. So this is not right, because you remember we always taught you from childhood that this is the case. Now you're telling me this, so how can it be true? So there is a concerted effort from your environment to keep this bias in place. So these are the 10 biases that we should avoid. Okay, so we learned about the different steps to critical thinking. We learned the 10 biases that we need to avoid, and how important critical thinking and getting out these 10 biases is important to be a great leader. So the grass is greener where you water it. So if you keep watering your critical thinking skills, I'm sure that you will come up to be a very good leader. So I'm ready for questions. If you have any questions, the moderators can take the questions for me.
This is live streaming, that's why they can't ask you questions directly. So if they have questions, then they send it to us and send it.
Okay, yes. Sure, sir. Yeah. So are there questions on Facebook page?
They will ask you, then we will send you on your WhatsApp number.
All right. Okay.
So, Dr. Chaitra, you have given nice webinar and given good information to the students of the agriculture, and faculty also very happy that how to make the leadership, and it is very important in agriculture business. So on behalf of the Parul University, we are thankful to you.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your valuable times and sharing your vast knowledge to us, and it will really great for us. You will say your knowledge and your valuable time. We will know that some people have like that. It's very good for us.
Thank you. Thank you, Praveen Chandra sir and Arpan sir. I'm very happy to be a part of this webinar series. You're doing a great job. I'm sure the pandemic has kind of made these young people very apprehensive. So all I want to tell you is, where there's a will, there's a way. If you want to learn, you can always learn and excel. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We will invite you again also.
Definitely. I'm always ready for this.
Yeah, we will
They immediately ready to give the webinar.
Yeah, that's why we invite. And if you have time, then you visit personally Parul University.
Definitely, sir. Once the pandemic, takes this thing, then definitely it'll be a pleasure to come see your campus and meet the youngsters in person.
When situation is under control, then we will invite you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.